Thorpe Park is home to many unique rides and attractions, all of which seem to be relatively thrilling. You've got some of the tallest and fastest roller coasters in the UK, you've got some crazy and insane flat rides like this, and you've even got this ride here. What a beautiful masterpiece. But there's ones that get you absolutely drenched, there's a few indoor ones as well, there is a whole selection. Hence why today I wanted to rank all of my favourite rides at Thorpe Park. And I do think my list is quite interesting, so watch till the end to find out what's at number 1. And whilst you're at it, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 80,000 subscribers now, which is crazy to even say. So if you want to help towards that goal, it'd be greatly appreciated. So then, the Thorpe Park Resort, or no, it's not a resort anymore. They took that off. The Thorpe Park. What are my favourite rides there? As with any top 20 video, I'm going to start with the 20th place and work my way all the way up to number 1. And I'm going to talk more and more about each one as we go along, because I'm not going to talk really in depth about my 20th place and just go, yeah, it good for number 1. So without further ado, let's kick off this list. And this is my opinion, remember, so if you don't agree, tough luck. At number 20, we have Big Easy Bumpers. This is just a generic Dodgem style ride that's themed to a petrol station. And I do appreciate the way it fits into that area, and I quite like it. It's good fun. Number 19 is Double Tea Party, recently rethemed from Tetley teacups. Now it's double, which has no relation to tea, but oh well. And with some friends where you get it spinning loads, it is an enjoyable experience. Number 18 is Flying Fish, the first roller coaster on this list. Obviously, it does have quite a short layout and it's quite repetitive because it does it multiple times, but purely for that fish front car on that train, it had to be on this list, and the fact it's a roller coaster, but you know, we move. At number 17, we have Quantum, located in the Lost City, one of 4 flat rides in that area. And this one is definitely the weakest, but you still get a lot of airtime, or that stomach feeling, if you want to call it that. Number 16, Storm Surge. Now, a lot of you may say that this is really high up, but the fact that it is so much fun when you're actually on it, I can't place it any lower. On the skyline, the ride looks horrific, but when you're sort of riding it and going down the drops and the turns and getting soaked, and then you have that lovely splashdown at the end, I do really enjoy it, and I really shouldn't be saying that. At number 15, we have Zodiac, another of the Lost City flat rides, and I've only put it here because it's just a generic Enterprise. That's it. It's themed to star signs and stuff, and it sort of, you know, goes round. It's good. At number 14, we have Ghost Train. This is one of 2 indoor rides at the park, and this is probably one of the weakest rides at the park. But because the actors in there do such an amazing job and some of the theming towards the start is really good, I am putting it at 14. I just wish the storyline and the sort of script was a bit better. Number 13, we have Rumba Rapids. This is one of those that's very old, but very reliable. I say that when it was closed for 2 months at the start of this season. Sometimes you get soaked, sometimes the rest of the boat gets soaked and not you. Sometimes when you don't get wet on it, this person just decided to run in the actual trough of it. That's definitely not how it works, and please don't try that. At number 12, we have Vortex, another of the Lost City flat rides. This is one of those rides that sits you in sort of a claw position and swings you left and right. You do see quite a few of them at fun fairs, but now they're at theme parks. And this one is quite good. It's really intense. If you get on the right side, you swing really high on both sides and you're spinning round, and it's just a very pleasant ride. Unless you get motion sickness really easily, then it's definitely not a good ride. But it's not my favourite flat ride in the Lost City, because at number 11 we have Rush. This is known as an S&S Scream and Swing, and it does what it says on the tin. It swings and makes people scream. Whenever you're swinging upwards and you face the sky, you do come out of your seat quite a lot. And I do also like the fact you get to face down towards the ground as well. It's just a shame that the ride cycle itself lasts about as long as Stealth does. And we have reached the top 10, and we're coming in with Ahsoka. Tidal Wave is at number 10. What a brilliant ride this is. Pretty much what it does is you get on the boat, it goes up a lift hill, it turns around, and it goes down a massive drop and makes a massive wave. And that comes splashing back down on you, and I'm pretty sure it's about 2.5 bathtubs worth of water dumped on your head. But when the sun's out and it's a hot day, it is the perfect ride to go on. At number 9, we have The Walking Dead, The Ride. If you aren't aware, this ride was previously known as X No Way Out. then X, and now The Walking Dead. And this indoor roller coaster would genuinely be quite a decent experience if the old experience of it going backwards and having all these flashing lights wasn't better. But I do really like the corridors and the pre-show at the start, and then you've got the actors towards the end as well. That's really cool. The portion of the ride where you stop and then you start like juddering forwards occasionally, sort of as if the train's trying to get going again, that's cool. And some of the on-ride effects and lighting and sort of animatronic stuff, I do like it. At number 8 we have Detonator. This was recently rethemed to fireworks, and it looks the exact same, but this is a drop tower style ride. So you get brought all the way up to the top and you just go, and that drop is quite intense. I would be inclined to say that this is the scariest ride at the park, unless you're scared of Hyperia. It's still a terrifying attraction. At number 7 is Colossus, the Power of 10. This is the park's oldest thrill coaster, and it's running all right, you know. Occasionally you can get a ride where it is a little rough, but most rides I've had on it recently have been great. As said with the Power of 10, it has 10 different inversions. It's got a vertical loop, followed by a cobra roll, which is technically 2 corkscrews, and then 4 consecutive back-to-back barrel rolls, and 1 right at the end. I just wish the trains had a little bit more room in the even rows, because I have very long legs and I barely fit just because of my legs. Tell you what ride does fit after its recent repaint. At number 6 we have Samurai. This is a Mondale top scan, and no matter where you sit on this ride, you are getting flipped and flung out of your seat. If you want to be dragged around more, you want to sit on the outer seats of the row you're on. But if you prefer a calmer experience, you may as well not go on. There's been points on this where we've been flipped upside down for ages, and we're sort of just coming towards the ground upside down and stuff. That's crazy. And when you get a good cycle on this ride, it is so much fun. We're going to move on to the top 5. Now, spoiler alert, it is all roller coasters from here on out. Obviously, you've probably worked that out by now. And we start off with number 5, and that is Nemesis Inferno. The only roller coaster in the world where one word in the name of it has messed up people's opinions on it. Nemesis Inferno is an amazing ride. You start off in the volcano and you trickle down into the volcano where it's all misty. You come out, go up a lift hill, and you end up doing 4 inversions during the layout, which is a vertical loop, a 0G roll, and even 2 interlocking corkscrews, which look really cool from off-ride. The jungle theming is lovely as you go around the ride, and if you've not actually known this before, there are 2 crocodiles in little lake bits whilst you're on it. Look out for them next time you go on. And it is really, really intense. It's just getting on a bit now. I think it needs to be reborn. At number 4, we have Saw the Ride. This Gerstlauer Eurofighter roller coaster has a very unique layout. My favourite part of this ride is the indoor section right at the start, when you go round and into a little drop and you do a heartline roll over the bathroom scene from the film. It is so cool. That was an awful joke. I want to die. You got some really cool saw blades as you go down that beyond vertical drop, and you go into an Immelman and then into an overbank airtime hill, followed by a mid-course brake run, which you think would have brakes on it, and it does, but they don't do anything, because you speed on down into the final inversion and crest round to the brake run that actually does slow you down this time. The main thing that brings this ride so high up for me is the theming on that indoor section, and also the queue line, to be fair. It is definitely one of the best roller coasters in the UK though. As is number 3, the Swarm. Located on its very own island, Swarm Island. This B&M wing coaster is probably one of the most themed rides we have in the UK, because as you go around the layout, you've got this crashed helicopter, crashed plane, a billboard that you smash through, broken down fire trucks, and there used to be some fire effects on that, but Merlin budget, they don't work anymore. The first inversion on this is the first drop as well. It goes into a wing over drop, I think it's called, and that gives some sustained hang time, and it's very good. The 0G roll is good, and then you go around into the incline loop, followed by a really intense turn, and then a corkscrew following round into an inline twist, which seems to be the bit where everyone and their nan screams. And this would be even higher, but I just prefer the 2 rides above it, because at number 2 we have Stealth in Amity Speedway. Now, the UK's 3rd tallest roller coaster and the fastest accelerating roller coaster in the world. This thing packs a punch, and it may not be the longest ride ever, but my god, I love it so much. Front row on this ride cannot be beaten. You accelerate from 0 to 80 miles an hour in about 1.8, 1.9 seconds. You go up into this amazing top hat, which if you're on the front, you get some awesome views, and if you're on the back, you just get whipped all the way over it, falling all the way down to the ground and going into a final airtime hill. So, yeah. About as short as Rush's cycle, I'd say. But I love the speedway theme, the trains are really cool as well, and just the area itself playing WWTP radio. I would play it for you, but I'd get copyrighted. It is just a beast of a ride, and for many years it was the signature ride at Thorpe Park. Until this year, another roller coaster came along and took that signature status away from Stealth. And that ride is my favourite at Thorpe Park, and also my favourite in the UK. Hyperia, the UK's tallest and fastest roller coaster. This is a Mack Rides hypercoaster that's been open since the 24th of May. As much as it's been open since then, I'm pretty sure it's only operated for about 5 days. It's not had the best life, but we move. If you've been lucky enough to ride this coaster, it is an insane coaster. The hang time and the air time you get from some of those elements is beyond me. How is this thing in the UK? It blows anything else at the park out of the water. It only has a lap bar, and you traverse many different inversions and elements and airtime hills, such as that first drop, which is just the best drop in the world, followed by a crazy Immelman and then that outer bank thing. If it makes it over, that thing has you out of your seat like mad. The dive loop towards the end is also amazing, and then you go down into the splashdown, which is a little bit of a buzzkill, the wave turn, and the final airtime hill to end off. All of those just whip you out your seat way too much, and I absolutely love it. But even though it's number one, there are a few things about that ride that I would change and I think could be a lot better. And some of you may agree with me. So if you want to see what those opinions are, click on the video on screen right now. My honest thoughts on Hyperia. Yeah, you could see it. Subscribe as well, by the way. Thanks.